Fuck it. You've heard the intro song too many times. All right. Welcome to the 11th installment of the AVC show. I am your host, Angry Vegan Cyclist. We've got quite a lineup this week. It's a big contrast from what we had last week. Last week we didn't have anything worth talking about really. And then a bunch of interesting things popped up this week. And I'm really actually kind of excited to do this show, which hasn't happened in a while, if I recall correctly. But such is life. There's ups and downs. There's peaks and valleys. Highs and lows, so on and so forth. Anyway, this week, well, for a while now, we don't have any sponsors. I haven't really put in the effort to get sponsors anymore because, I don't know, people just aren't interested. Maybe they just don't want to be associated with the kind of content that I produce, which I respect. You choose your sponsors and I choose my sponsees. Or I guess it's the other way around, or whatever. And again, such is life. So, in any case, nobody is sponsored this week. Not really too much is going on from my end. I've been busy with a bunch of art projects under my more legitimate alias that you will never know about. And that's about all I got. I think that's a good intro. Let's just get straight into the content because, Alcoholic Gaming, again, I'll check out his channel, my description. He kind of flaked on me today. And yes, you can tell him about it. I've told it to his face. And I've rubbed it in his face as well. So, anyway. Let's just get straight into the content, I guess. You probably just want to hear about what the hell I want to talk about. All right, let me take the cover off. Okay, so this is new, fresh off the press. The prosecutor drops charges against Rick and Morty co-creator Justin Roiland from National Public Radio on March 22nd by Jacqueline Diaz. So, the Orange County District Attorney's General Office has dismissed all charges against Rick and Morty co-creator and star Justin Roiland. Kimberly Eds, spokeswoman for District Attorney's Office, told NPR the decision was made, quote, as a result of having insufficient evidence to prove the case beyond a reasonable doubt. Before I read on, we did it, boys. Well, we didn't do shit, but I mean, it's still worth celebrating. Hashtag dicks out for Justin. And the outcome turned out in our favor. Roiland pleaded not guilty to 2 felony domestic violence charges in Orange County, California in 2020. He appeared in some pre-trial hearings that occurred earlier this year. Roiland reacted to the dropped charges in a statement he posted on Twitter. He wrote that he had always known that these claims were false. He also added that he is looking forward to moving on because he added that he is looking forward to moving on to, quote, focus on both my creative projects and restoring my good name. After reports of the charges were made public, Roiland's career took a major hit. Adult Swim said that it was ending its association with him, but that the popular program Rick and Morty would continue in his absence. The adult animated show follows the adventures of the scientists Rick Sanchez and Morty. Well, you guys know how this fucking show works. Rick also co-created Solar Opposites, another animated show that airs on Hulu. Hulu similarly dropped him for Solar Opposites and another called Koala Man, which Roiland served as an executive producer and voice actor, Variety had reported. Oh, that's it. Fuck you. I'm not supporting you. NPR, you just feed the news to me, and you already have enough funding, clearly. Your website is much better than what I could create. Clearly, you paid some HTML developer a lot of money for a good website. You don't need my money. Anyway, so yeah. First off, again, hashtag dicks out for Justin. I guess we made it. Second, just once again, pay attention to how graceful it is to see what was more likely than at least 99% bullshit charges being thrown onto a successful man, and he was vindicated of the charges that of said bullshit charges. How touching is that? I'm quite moved, honestly. And now this guy can actually continue with his fucking success without his bitch ex-wife fully dropping bullshit charges on him. So yeah, if you want to dig in further, insufficient evidence is a pretty it's a bold claim to make, and the fact that even NPR, like pretty much just like I jokingly call it national propaganda radio, but yeah, if they're willing to say that quote there was insufficient evidence, then that must be something it must be pretty close to obvious. Now, there's always going to be naysayers, but I mean, like, who can hate Justin Roiland? He makes everyone's fucking favorite show. I guess it's like, okay, I guess this is like the same reason that like South Park can't get canceled, because everybody watches it. Even the commie shit sticks and all like the champion spearheads of woke culture, which really is just baiting for lawsuits. Like, these people aren't paying for shit. They're not going to buy your product. So, yeah, I'm happy. I'm just happy to report this. This is fucking good news. And hopefully this is part of a grander push to move the legal system in the direction of not being unjust. Maybe, God forbid, the justice system is actually about justice. I know it's a crazy thought, but that's a very inspiring proposal, don't you say? Yeah, maybe. Okay. We'll see. Well, let us not get too excited, but still. Fuck. Well done. Ugh. Anyway, next topic. I guess we've got a long lineup, man. Well, maybe I might get through this and... we'll just roll with it. Okay. So this is brought to me by MSN, Microsoft. 1945 magazine, which again is like some kind of like military technology rag from the United States. Can't say I know too much about this specific journal, but it's pretty safe to say they're all about international relations, military, and military politics. So, 1945 has an article, the Su-35, Putin's best fighter jet in Ukraine has problems, by Maya Karlin. Now, what I see going on right now, and maybe my assessment might change as I start to read more of the articles, is that there's a bunch of news articles, maybe just from 1945 or just news in general, that are kind of downplaying the technical competence of the Russian military and their military equipment. And I think there's something bigger at play. I think that they're trying to reestablish some kind of nationalist faith. They said, "Oh, we're America. We can do this. Putin doesn't stand a chance against us." Which is, if you were a government and you had an opportunity, you have some money to strong arm, or money or force to strong arm some news journals into creating that sentiment within the people, then it kind of makes sense. Especially whenever apparently the U.S., the UN, the NATO, this whole global homo kind of superstructure is trying to start another Cold War, at least, with Russia through a bunch of countries, with Ukraine just being the most obvious one. I guess it's good to have. It's not, well, not good. It's very useful to have a nationalist spirit among your people. But we'll see. All right, let me shut up and just read the article. I'll shut up on my own commentary and read the article first. So, Russia's fleet of fourth-generation Su-35 fighter jets have monopolized headlines since the invasion of Ukraine. However, these, quote, cutting-edge airframes have garnered attention primarily for negative reasons. Industry experts and analysts widely concur that Moscow's top-of-the-line platform has not performed as expected in combat. Nonetheless, an Su-35 fighter was scrambled over the Baltic Sea this week to confront two U.S. strategic bombers veering towards the border. Although the two bombers ultimately flew away, Russia's defense ministry said it sent the Su-35 jet over to, quote, prevent a border violation. Considering the jet's lackluster track record so far in combat, perhaps the remaining Su-35 fighters would be best put to use monitoring the border. A brief overview of the Su-35 fighter. During the Cold War, the Russian defense company Sukhoi was tasked with developing a super maneuverable airframe that could go up against America's own fleet of fourth-generation fighters, such as the McDonnell Douglas F-15 and the Northrop Grumman F-14, were particularly threatening to the Soviets' aging arsenal of jets. The Su-35 became the designation for the two improved variants of the older Su-27 air defense fighter platform. By the late 1980s, the first Su-35 prototype, known as the Su-27M, took its maiden flight. Over the years, the Su-35 underwent various facelifts to modernize its capabilities. Today, the jet is dubbed the Flanker E by NATO, according to the airframe's manufacturer, the United Aircraft Corporation. The jet, quote, combines the qualities of a modern fighter, super maneuverability and super active and passive acquisition aids, high supersonic speed and long range, capability of managing battle group actions, etc. What the fuck? And a good tactical airplane, a wide range of weapons that can be carried, modern multi-channel electronic warfare system, reduced radar signature, and high combat survivability. These maybe I'm not enough of an expert as I thought I was, but these are very, very vague, broad terms. I don't know if you think the same. Let me know. If not, don't be afraid to fact check me. Yeah, that's just my suspicion. The improved variant of the Su-35 sports thrust vectoring engines in place of canards, which enables the plane to gain air supremacy by destroying UAVs with missiles at any range, while simultaneously carrying out both long-range and short-range maneuvers. What the hell does the vertical stabilizer position have to do with gaining air supremacy with missile motility? Whatever. Additionally, the fighter's twin Saturn AL-41F1S turbofans engines provide it with super maneuverability that the UAC claims can easily match or even exceed the techniques of near-peer fourth-generation platforms, like comparable American aircraft of weight and weapon class. The Flanker E has not performed well in Ukraine. Ooh, my. On paper, the Su-35 could be getting the job done in Ukraine for the Kremlin. However, several flaws associated with the airframe has limited its performance. Moscow has struggled to export the pricey jets due to the counter America's adversaries through sanctions. What the counter America's adversaries through sanctions act. Oh my government. Many potential foreign clients have refused to procure the fourth-generation fighter. Additionally, the construction of Flanker E's incorporates Western parts and equipment, which is becoming increasingly difficult for Moscow to acquire amidst recently imposed economic sanctions. Oh, look at us. Look at us. We're so powerful. Oh, we cut Putin off of his American-made jet-fired parts. Take that, Putin. It's like America's just a power bottom at this point. Since the outbreak of the war, Russia is estimated to have lost more than 70 airframes, according to the commander of U.S. Air Forces in Europe, General James Hecker. While the exact number of downed flanker E-jets remains unclear, they have been confirmed reports of at least 2 losses. So, there's more. So, however, the 4th generation fighter remains a significant component to Russia's aerial abilities. So, all right. My question here is, what exactly is the intention of the article? So, okay, like it's pointing the finger, haha, F-30, no, F-35 is equally a piece of shit. Okay, the Sukhoi 35, ha ha ha, look, it's got problems. Yeah, just like any other fucking jet fighter. I mean, look at look at the United States, and the United States more, pointing the finger at you, Lockheed Martin. So, what is this article trying to tell me? I'm not quite sure. So, they're highlighting. I maybe it's like a counterbalance to, for some reason, shut up the critics of I guess critics of the F-35, I guess, like me, by pointing out, well, look, Putin's planes have problems too. Like, yeah, sure, yeah. Like these planes are multi-million to billion-dollar projects in terms of research and testing and development. Problems happen. That's part of the development process. So, so what? I don't know. I think it's just, and I guess this article is going down the similar route. There's a bunch of other articles talking about how the PAC-DA, which is clearly a B2 competitor, and for those without context, there's the Boeing B2. Oh, okay, never mind. There's, I guess the ownership has been transferred to Northrop Grumman. Yeah, was a flying wing type structure, stealth bomber. Yeah, well, the Russians got to have their own too, and that's what the PAC-DA is. And then there's, what is this article saying? The quote, that Moscow has consistently spread falsehoods and even misled its own citizens to support its war efforts. Yeah, well, yeah, what the fuck do you think America's doing, huh? With all these blasting us with all this propaganda. It's just more subtle than it used to be in like past wars. It's not like a poster with Uncle Sam pointing his finger, I need you for the armed services. Obviously, that day and age has long been gone. And we're looking at the propaganda right now. War propaganda to hold on to this very honestly shambling facade of American hegemony. And you're not, the American press, you're not fooling anyone. At least anyone with 2 brain cells to rub together. And I say that they're trying, and I can commend the effort, but effort doesn't guarantee results. Sometimes shit just happens. Sometimes the sentiment of hundreds of millions of people just really cannot be controlled by any deliberate effort. On the other hand, have Americans proven to be not smart enough to see through this? Yes, a lot. So, if you're asking me, I think the best way to maintain American military dominance and subtly oppress other countries to maintain the mutual oppression that guarantees world peace, or something close to it, I believe it's through business. So whenever you try to have this fucking pathetic proxy conflict known as the Ukraine war, why not just do business instead? Like, take a look at what China's doing throughout many different generations of conflict, except for like immediately after the First and Second Sino-Japanese Wars. China kind of plays both sides and only sticks around for the winner. And that's because they don't care. They don't give a shit what Western countries do. They don't care what the whitey is doing to other whiteys. All they care about is money. Just like most people of almost every country in the world right now. Well, of course, more important than broadly than money is their own bottom lines. And a lot of times now, well, thanks to the internet, then people kind of, the propaganda just cannot reach as far. And if it wasn't for the internet, I probably wouldn't be as critical of all of these sources of information, or propaganda that is shown before me. So, how do you control the sentiment of a well-informed or better informed populace? Well, at that point, you'll just have to use force, which is what I'm personally concerned about. Take what you will from such a statement. So, yeah, that's just the thing. That's just the recurring thought I keep having whenever I see these articles about people journals trying to talk shit about Russian military gear or the Russian military, or haha, look, Putin's losing. Well, if it's so obvious that he's losing, then why do you need to restate it? It kind of sounds like Napoleon syndrome to me. I don't know about you. I don't know what you think, but that's kind of what it's suggesting to me. Anyway, so yeah. Questions, comments, emotional outbursts. If you think AVC is just a traitor to national interests and he needs to be called out for being a foreign agent or whatever the fuck, let me know in the comments. I probably won't give a shit, and I probably just post your comment in hater hour just to laugh at you. Yeah. Anyway, I think I got my point across. All right, let's go talk some more shit about tech workers. Yeah. Apparently that stuff is still going on. So there's a bunch of articles talking about this. I'm here for your entertainment, and we'll talk about it, I guess. So, The Independent last Wednesday wrote this article titled "Former Meta Recruiter Claims She Got Paid $190,000 a Year to Do Nothing and Amid Company's Layoffs." So, this kind of ties into the next three. Next two articles talking closely related to like the tech layoff shenanigans, to say the least. Interesting word choice here. Do nothing, and this next article also talks about doing nothing, fake work. It's a very, I don't know. Sometimes I guess the gray matter in my head try to bridge these two together, and I got these two ideas mixed up. But let's straighten it out by reading the article. So, by Amber Rakin. I don't know if any of you know that name. The article starts. A former Meta recruiter, Meta Facebook, has claimed that she made $190,000 a year doing nothing at her job amid the company's recent layoffs. So, why is she bragging about it? Apparently, this job wasn't important enough to sign any NDAs, so that she's just running her mouth on TikTok. Interesting. Noteworthy. So, in a recent video posted to TikTok, Maddie, at Maddie Macho, reflected on her time working at Meta for 6 months during 2021. Her post was also shared only days after Facebook chief executive Mark Zuckerberg announced Meta's next round of layoffs, cutting more than 10,000 employees. A clip which was titled, quote, getting paid $190,000 to do nothing at Meta, started off with a former job recruiter explaining how her company wasn't hiring new workers while she was there. Quote, we weren't expected to hire anybody for the first 6 months, even the first year, she said. That really blew my mind. Like, perfect. I'm just going to write this out for a year. Obviously, I didn't make that. Regarding what she did all day, Maddie said she was just quote-unquote learning, as Meta had, quote, the best onboarding and training process, which was, quote, very thorough. Very thorough. She poked fun at how her expectations at the beginning of her job was to be taking it all in before questioning some of the meetings she had to do. But the most of what we did is that, this is the crazy part, is we had so many team meetings. Sounds like fucking middle management in a nutshell. Maddie claimed, why are we in a meeting? We're not hiring anybody. We're not hiring nobody. Just to hear how someone else isn't hiring anybody. Also, I was on a team where everyone was new, so none of us were hiring anybody. After noting that her coworkers and boss were just, quote, trying to figure things out at the job, she continued to make fun of her responsibilities at the company. I really missed it, she says. I wasn't doing shit pretty much. That's nice. In a follow-up video, she stated why she got fired from Meta after she first started working there in September 2021. According to Maddie, where her TikTok video about the company's benefits package went viral, people who worked at the company reached out to her and said that they loved it. However, Maddie said that Meta wasn't too pleased about the content on her accounts, as she claimed that she later got a write-up for posting about her story about how challenging her job could be. She claimed that while she stopped talking specifically about Meta, the company later went through 20 of her TikTok videos, quote unquote, and asked if asked her if they thought they were appropriate. No, hold on. Asked her if they thought they were appropriate. So the company is asking Macho, I guess, or Miss Macho, or Maddie, if Meta thinks, they ask her if she thought Meta thinks these videos were appropriate. What the fuck? Now, there's probably, it's either a grammar error here or there's I don't think there's anything. Why would a company ask we think that these videos are appropriate? What do you think that we think is cool? She said that she then decided to quit a day before she was fired. As of the 17th of March, Maddie's videos have more than 210,400 views, with TikTok users in the comments poking fun at her time at Meta. Quote, see, I wouldn't have been telling anyone I wasn't doing work. Haha, one wrote. Quote, getting paid to $190,000 to do nothing is wild, another added. While a third wrote, team meetings. Gotta block my damn calendar so I could have a day without meetings. So, other people express how they could relate to Maddie's work experience. I had the same experience for 4 months. Easiest paycheck ever, LOL, one wrote. Same here, another added. I was making a lot of money in Amazon and didn't hire anyone. Collected an $80,000 sign-on and a volunteer severance. Earlier this week, Zuckerberg announced that more than 10,000 people were let go from Facebook and that Meta would also be leaving 5,000 empty jobs unfilled. The business magnate said that at least some of the staff would be fired from Meta's recruiting team and indicated that the others may be from non-engineering roles. It gave no indication of which staff would be let go and which said affected staff would hear about their future in April and May. I'm a thirsty hoe, sorry. He noted that the layoffs were part of a restructuring and Meta's year of efficiency and that they would not be finished until the end of 2023. Quote, this will be tough and there's no way around that, he wrote in a memo to staff. Quote, it will mean saying goodbye to talented and passionate colleagues who have been part of our success. This decision also came after the company already laid off about 11,000 people in November. The Independent has contacted Maddie and a representative on Meta for comment. From news to politics, to travel to sport, culture to climate, the Independent... Okay, whatever. I don't give a shit about your journal. Fuck off. So, yeah... It just... At my day job, I love my boss. full homo. Yeah, he complains to me about a lot of his meetings that he has to go to. And this is just like, they're not even trying to hide it anymore. Apparently, I guess this also gains traction because a lot of companies, a lot of low level employees all have the same complaint that all my middle manager does is just sit there and fucking attend these stupid meetings. And I really don't think this is just limited to tech companies. Which I guess makes sense. Like, what does a middle manager do? He's just basically a communicatory bridge between the lower level employees and upper management. And so, what do you need him to do other than just sit there and listen to a fucking meeting? And how do you expect him to give a shit? Like, this whole, like, the whole Great Resignation stuff from last year is just, it's a symptom of a greater issue, being that people are completely apathetic to the interests of other companies. Whether the apathy manifests as, like, laying down flat in China, or hikikomori / otaku in Japan, to just, I don't know, lazy neets in the West. It's a shakeup. You know, it's a disruption, using American corporate language, dare I say, to naturally a constantly evolving economy. And tech companies, as you might know, got a little too comfortable with their success of the past almost, maybe 10, 15, 20 years. So that's why they started to get too flush with cash. So then whenever the businesses got big and they have all this like they have all this like financial headroom, they can make the workplaces, you know, unusually cozy, welcoming, to further attract more and more eventually useless employees. And you can only add so many of those to your company until things start to the ROI of the money you pump into your employees kind of just turns back down the other way. It's like a parabolic curve. So like there's the peak somewhere right here, right? I don't know if you can see how my mouse is moving. And then as it starts to kind of go down the other way, well, it's the rise and fall, right? So right now we're over the hill of success of Silicon Valley centralized technology. And what people are going to do, they're going to decentralize. They'll move to smaller towns. They'll start working for maybe, I guess broadly, more small companies, or they start their own business. And then we'll start to see the centralization, monopolization of big tech break into smaller tech spread all around. And I think it's subtly beautiful. And it's just a great expression of natural law. And and especially along the 20th century and now going into the 21st century, in the United States, the rural populations are starting to enjoy the internet more and more. And they are starting to get in the world of technology, whether it's through gaming, for entertainment, for business, or whatever. And from my experience in the U.S., it's sometimes rural areas have really good internet, and that's just the basic infrastructure to further modernize a area of the world that, for the most part, in times past, are kind of Luddite or kind of anti-technology. So it's, again, very, very interesting. And having the autism that I do to put it all together only makes it more so. As you examine more, you learn more. And then as you know more, then you can examine further. So, yeah, okay, anyway. Let's go watch this video. Oh,
what did we do all day? That is a great question. When I was working at Meta and I was a recruiter and what did we do all day? That is a great question. When I was working at Meta and I was a recruiter and we weren't expected to hire anybody for the first 6 months, even the first year. This is something they tell you when you start. That really blew my mind. I was like, perfect. I'm just going to ride this out for a year. Obviously, I didn't make that, but you know. So what do you do all day? You're learning. They have a really amazing onboarding and training, the best on
right, and she likes it because this is just basically like fucking high school repeating itself into the corporate world. Like, I guess if you just like sitting there and being taught and being patted on the head, who's a good little employee? Who's a good little employee? Here's your gold star. If that's how you want to be treated, I guess this is this kind of position was exactly what you're looking for.
Onboarding and training I've seen from any company ever. It could have been better, but it was still very thorough. The expectations when you start is really that you're just learning and taking it all in because you're drinking from a fire hose. I hate that. I hate that phrase so much. But the most that we did, this is the crazy part.
Well, at least she's mostly self-aware. That's already something that a lot of people don't have. Good on you, Maddie.
Is we had so many team meetings. Why are we meeting? We're not hiring nobody. Just to hear how everybody else wasn't hiring anybody. And also, I was on a team where everybody was new, so none of us were hiring anybody. We were all just like trying to figure out things. None of us knew the answers to. We would ask my boss. She'd be like, I don't know, because she was new too. I really miss it. I wasn't doing shit pretty much. That was nice. I miss those days.
Yeah, good old big tech. Anyway, related to this topic, Business Insider has an article saying millionaire and billionaire CEOs say thousands of laid-off tech staff just did quote-unquote fake work. Oh, my. Oh, this is fucking funny. Look at this shit. So on one hand, when I was younger, when I half-assedly tried to build a IT career. Look at this. I mean, on one hand, you laugh at it and how childish it is. It's just like adult daycare. You don't fucking do anything. You're just there to be pampered and pet and groomed like Paris Hilton's little dog or some shit. And I mean, and there's a lot of, you could say, okay, well, this is an environment that fosters creativity, which is like, yeah, sure, right. An artist will fill his room with a bunch of like posters and notes and things to just spur and prompt ideas, because obviously that's part of the creative process. I, as a amateur of questionable merit, am very familiar with this concept. But on the other hand, how far could you go down that route before it literally just becomes an adult daycare, especially when it becomes an unprofitable adult daycare? Like, you're paying these employees, what, 6-figure salaries? To do what? Big question mark. And to answer that question, I guess we'll read further. A caption to this photo: workers at Google could enjoy nap pods at the company's Mountain View, California Googleplex, as seen in 2015. Now some tech execs are questioning whether some tech workers have really been working at all. So, side note, it is a uniquely American thing to frown upon falling asleep at work. And this is mainly a carryover from, I guess, the 19th and 20th century. Meanwhile, even some of the most workaholic cultures, for example, Mexican immigrants in the United States, or Japanese businessmen, taking a siesta, a midday nap during the shift. Of course, again, accounting for holding these people accountable for their time. Nevertheless, taking a nap is a routine thing in the said cultures I've just mentioned. So I can appreciate like the out of the box thinking that people at Google have. I mean, look at the whole, like, the fucking place is called Googleplex. It's like, it's kind of childish, but also unique, creative. And creativity is probably one of the biggest valuable assets of that company, or of many companies in that area. So, yeah, I don't know. I've got mixed feelings about it. So, like, the blue-collar redneck within me says, oh, look at these slackers. They're not fucking doing shit. But the artist within me says that, well, if you want to disrupt and innovate and actually be able to deliver upon this and these cringe corporate bullshit, you really have to be unafraid to try things that are unconventional. Lateral integration, one could say, to see success in one aspect of your life or your skill set or reality, and then laterally integrate it into another. That is a very, very necessary skill for any level of employee in a tech company or any company for that matter. Well, any company that is seeking to expand and grow and God forbid stay competitive with other companies. So anyway, let's keep reading. Silicon Valley founders and investors are debating what constitutes real work in tech. Oh God, what a loaded sentence here. This can mean a bunch of different people a bunch of different things to a bunch of different people. Oh, that's amid the biggest shedding of jobs in the industry's history. Investor Keith Rabois, I guess, assuming it's a French name, last week said firms had overhired engineers who, quote, do fake work. Software engineers fake work. Oh boy. If you're not building or coding, what exactly are you doing? That's a question posed by certain members of the Silicon Valley elite who are attributing layoffs to a boom time phenomena. Overhiring and fake work. A tirade on fake work last week came last week from Keith Rabois, the PayPal Mafia member, technology investor, and current chief executive of e-commerce firm OpenStore. Speaking from Miami at an event hosted by banking firm Evercore, Rabois said big tech firms had hired too many people in pursuit of the, quote, vanity metric of headcount. They had brought on spoiled workers in order to look bigger than rivals and stop those workers from achieving anything useful at a competitor. Interesting. Quote, all of these people were extraneous, Rabois said. This had been true for a long time. The vanity metric of hiring employees was the false god in some ways. He charged that thousands of employees at Google and Meta were essentially kept around to do nothing. Quote, there's nothing for these people to do. They're really, it's all fake work, said Rabois, whose net worth was at one time estimated to be at $1 billion. Quote, now that's being exposed. What do these people actually do? They go to meetings. Just like this lady here, Maddie _macho, fake work and go to meetings all day. The view has gained hold among rich investors and founders. Quote, they were really doing nothing for working from home. Thomas Siebel, the billionaire chief executive of artificial intelligence firm C3.ai, told an insider this week. He added, if you want to work from home, like 4 days of work in your pajamas, go work for Facebook. And they see mass layoffs as a chance to reset tech exceptionalism and return to the grind. This is gonna transition real smoothly into the next article. A particular view of work. This concept of fake work is rooted at least partly in political disagreement. Several of the tech figures pushing these ideas, Ian Republican? What the I'm retarded. Several of the tech figures pushing these ideas lean Republican, in contrast to the left-leaning workers they're lambasting. Well, I mean, that's duh. I mean, if you're leaning towards the right, then you're about upholding traditional behaviors, patterns, rituals, etc., even if they are to a fault. And if you are left-leaning, then you are embracing new ideas and out-of-the-box thinking, even when that is to a fault. So, no surprise here. They appear to vaunt the blue-collar work ethic, sometimes presented politically as the only, quote, real kind of work. They lionize weirdos who get things done, who have hard coding, science, or math capabilities but may lack soft skills. They show antipathy towards tech unions, a product they say activist employees with too much spare time. They also see marketing, design, HR policy, ethics, or other more creative roles as basically a waste of space. They don't necessarily say this stuff explicitly. Rabois says fake work is meetings. For Elon Musk, it's not being in the office or not making... It's not being in the office or not making stuff. For investor Mark Andreessen, it's whether the quote laptop class does, including seemingly holding socially conformist opinions. But statements like Andreessen, Horowitz's much mocked quote, "It's time to build a manifesto," or Musk springing 1:30 a.m. code reviews on engineers after taking ownership of Twitter, are pretty indicative of where they think the real worker value lies. And they have ammo. Tech firms in the past were so desperate to stop staff from going to competitors that the perks became legendarily ridiculous. Cue the day in the life TikTok videos where 20-somethings with highly paid tech jobs showed off about getting face masks in the office and having a quote self-care moment. Investor David Sachs, a friend of Musk's and another of PayPal Mafia, commented last night incredulously on one such video. Quote, "Does anyone still work?" Musk replied with a cry laugh emoji.
They started bright and early at 6 a.m. because I had a long day of events, so I needed to get to the office early to get some stuff done. The city was actually glowing this morning. I love getting up this early because the sunlight is just so beautiful at this time of day. And I got to the office, I picked up some cute little stickers that we had out, and I was definitely one of the first people in the office. It was like totally dark, at least on my floor. And I started getting to work. I had to finalize some campaign edits before my meeting started for the day. I went downstairs.
Look at this shit.
Before my meeting started.
Man, fucking... This is what a company looks like when they have they don't know, they have more money than they know what to do.
For the day, I went downstairs. When breakfast finally opened, I got coffee and got back to work at 8 a.m. And then we just got some new swag at work, so I got to pick up.
So 2 hours and she's already has a lunch break provided to her, and not to mention, just look at the quality of the food that the company has cooked for them.
A shirt and a jacket, as if we don't already have enough swag. And then I headed down to get some lunch. We had like a beautiful array of desserts and this vegan panna cotta. It was delicious. And after lunch, we headed to...
Oh, wow, look at that. They're going to accommodate my type. Well, falsely my type, I guess. It's
my favorite event of the day. We went to Scratch Goods with LinkedIn today, which I've been wanting to go to forever. You basically get to make a homemade face mask and just treat yourself a little self-care moment. We had about 30 people from the Chicago office go to this event. It was so much fun. We walked back to the office and grabbed our eucalyptus towels per usual, picked up some kombucha, finished a few things up before heading to a happy hour in the office. It was supporting a local charity. And I walked home with a few of my coworkers all the way to River North. It was a long-ass walk, but I had to go by Whole Foods to pick up some goods for a picnic with some of my girlfriends. It was such a great way to end the day with my girls, eating and drinking and watching the beautiful skyline of Chicago.
Fucking look, what the fuck? Oh, all right. Going back to the article, there's also the phenomenon of rest and vest employees, which are workers who acquired into a larger organization with nothing while waiting for their shares to vest so they can leave. That's new to me. Musk has been the most outspoken and ruthless CEO when it comes to chopping workers as he sees as surplus, demanding early in his Twitter takeover that the workers commit to, quote, being extremely hardcore. No, I'm sorry. That workers commit to being, quote, extremely hardcore and prioritizing engineers over workers in areas like policy, marketing, and legal. He and others pushing a grind culture are motivated as tech employees are commenting on the workplace app Blind noted. Quote, probably some greedy VC looking to suppress wages, said one user of Rabois, whose tag indicated that they currently work at Square. Quote, I worked at several supposedly good work-life balance companies, and everyone had tons of work to do. And fake work just isn't possible in most startups, one investor told Insider. It's easy to get lost in a large company, but for a startup, there's no way to get away with fake work, said Eugene Malabrodsky, a partner at an early-stage investor of One Way Ventures, which backed fintech Brex. I think it's a false narrative to say that many people do fake work, especially when companies already deploy workplace monitoring tools. But while they aren't openly agreeing with Musk, Anderson, Rabois, and Sachs, it's clear that other tech CEOs are following Musk's example. Meta, which laid off more than 111,000 people in November, saw roughly 70% of its layoffs hit departments such as recruiting, product, marketing, operations, design, and sales. According to MetaMate's talent directory, a tally created by Meta employees to keep track of cut jobs, only around 22% of layoffs come from the engineering team. The good life for tech workers is well and truly over. Yeah. It was the age of tech boom, the age of Kathy Wood and her ARC shit is that was all probably before the fall, I guess. And there's never such a thing as too big to fail. And here we are on the precipice of it. So I guess this is just another article to further elaborating the point of the end of cushy tech jobs. Yeah, too good to be true, right? Oh man. Well, oh boy, no, that's too soon. I'm gonna save that for last. Oh god, that's so good. Where was that last? Okay, hold on. Oh wait, this is just a thumbnail, right? Okay. Yeah, okay, here. Yeah. Foreshadowing for we'll talk about the end of the show. I'm gonna save the best for last. So, directly related to this is another Business Insider article that says Amazon's head of HR rejects employees return to office petition. What the fuck is this? This just gets crazier. By Diamond Nagasiu. I guess that sounds like a Thai name. Anyway, article starts. It's finally Friday, friendo. I'm Diamond Nagasiu, and I've made it through another week of procrastination, aka talking too much. I spend a lot of my day thinking about writing. Then I talk for hours with colleagues about anything and everything. But once my stress hits a breaking point, I might finally hunker down with noise-canceling headphones to write. Maybe I should shake things up by following software engineer Cameron Perrin's lead. He struggled with procrastination so much that it even impacted his career goals, but Cameron discovered his procrastination panacea, monk mode. The viral technique forces people to fully focus on one task for a set period of time. The hot life hack has been even used by CEOs and entrepreneurs to skyrocket their productivity. Before I go test out this technique, let's go dive into today's tech. By the way, I don't know why the fuck people have to like commercialize just very simple, obvious cognitive processes. Like, if you really care about something, you don't have to motivate yourself to do it. Like, come on now. And if you have to motivate yourself to do it, then you are either doing it for a paycheck or you're just kind of bullshitting yourself. Like, why? Well, this Pomodoro technique. This monk mode thing. I know it's kind of a contrast because I'm usually the guy who says, "Oh, you need to quantify things. You need to count calories." In case you've heard my diet advice, you need to look at the hard data, and if you can't pull up data, then whatever you say to me doesn't mean shit. Well, pardon my hypocrisy when I say this, but you call it whatever you want. The phenomena still is. Like, your brain will still function the exact same way. Well, at the principial level, it would still function at the same way. So I don't know why, like, monk mode. What the? I guess people just got to feel like superheroes. They got to feel like anime characters when they shout out their planned attack right before they do it, instead of just doing it. I don't know. That was just a side note. That was just an emotional outburst. Don't worry about it. So. One, Amazon rejects an anti-return to office petition. Okay, this is some clever wordplay here. So it's not a work from home. It's anti-return to office, which is the same fucking thing. Beth Galletti, the company's HR lead, formally responded to a letter that gathered about circa 30,000 employee signatures. She sent an email to the group that organized the anti-office advocacy. Insider obtained her full memo. Galletti wrote in her email that Amazon's guiding principle is to, quote, make our customers' lives better and easier every day. She said that the company is confident that office work will increase the company's ability to deliver for her customers. Disappointed Amazon employees flooded an internal Slack channel they called remote advocacy after her response. Oh, remote work advocacy. Okay. One person called the response disconnected. Another said that they felt like a total failure after the unsuccessful appeal. My colleague Eugene Kim obtained Galetti's full email and walked us through how Amazon employees feel about the response. I don't know. Oh, jeez. Oh, well, we'll get to that. Don't worry. We'll get to that later. So number 2 is about the the topic later on. I don't know why this is in here. This is clearly an advertisement, which is honestly worth advertising. What the hell in other news? Oh, this is ad. All right, number 3. Boom and bust lessons we should learn from the pandemic explosion. Tech cycles have produced some major tech winners and losers. My teammate Asia Martin shares lessons like agility and durability. We should learn from these patterns. Check them all out here. Number 4, Mackenzie Scott is giving $1 million to 250 nonprofits. The infamous philanthropist and Jeff Bezos' ex-wife is at it again. She's currently on the search for, quote, organizations making positive change in their communities. Number 5, TikTok's disaster day in D.C. Congress grilled CEO Shou Zi for hours about the app. And he likely did not calm any privacy fears. One politician even said his testimony raised more questions than answers. Grab your front row seat to TikTok's pretty rough day here. Hold on, what the fuck? What does this have to do with the... Oh, hold on. So this is kind of like a mixed news update. So yeah, a number of factors are pushing towards like the remote work. Let's not bullshit with this, whatever the fuck this is supposed to fool. Whoever the fuck this is supposed to fool. So this is some really misleading title here. So Amazon's head of human resources rejects employees possessive pronoun. Employees return to possessive pronoun. Employees return to office petition. This is implying that the employees came up with the return to office position, whereas in reality it was actually where does it say? Amazon rejects an anti return to office petition. So the employees were actually casting an anti-return to office, aka pro-remote work, pro-work from home petition. Because, if the company's going down, well, why not? Working a cushy job at Google? No, that's not fucking enough. We want to write maybe a few lines of code per day for $150,000 a year in our fucking pajamas. And if you don't like that, then fuck you. That's what these people are fucking saying at this point. Oh, man. What the hell? Oh, yeah, I'm not giving you money. Fuck you. Ah, jeez. Just look at human behavior and laugh at it with me. Oh. Okay. More Elon Musk news. Speaking of Elon Musk earlier, Business Insider once again has another article from Grace K titled Texans Sound Off Against Elon Musk's Horrifying Plans for Dumping the Boring Company Wastewater into Colorado River. I went on a trip to Colorado. It is a beautiful place. But then again, I'm probably biased towards places with mountains because I like seeing mountains in the background. Maybe some of you don't like Colorado, but I can kind of empathize off the bat. I can kind of empathize with this so-called bleeding heart sentiment of, oh, look, Elon Musk is pouring dirty water into the Colorado River. We gotta stop him. But of course, environmentalism, we all know where that's going. So the Boring Company, here's the caption: the Boring Company faced some blowback from Texans who spoke out against its plans to dump treated wastewater into the water supply on Tuesday. Okay, so Colorado River going into Texas. Never mind. Yeah, I don't give a shit about Texas. Fuck them. Fattest province of the U.S. Like fucking whatever. Texas can go be big on its own. They don't need the national support. They don't need my help. The Boring Company is facing criticism from Texans over its plan to dump treated wastewater. Okay, so all right, sorry, fuck environmentalism, but Texans are usually the ones with their lifted trucks rolling coal. Everything's bigger in Texas, bigger and badder. But, oh, no. Now you pollute the water. Oh, wow. Okay, suddenly they're environmentalists. Interesting. I don't care if you're hypocrites, but just interesting. Okay? Interesting. So the Boring Company is facing criticism from Texans over its plan to dump treated wastewater. The company applied for a permit to dump 142,000 gallons every day last year. One of the residents said about 400 people showed up at the public meeting on the Boring Company's plans. Elon Musk's tunnel building venture, the Boring Company, is facing blowback from Texans who are speaking out against its plans to dump treated wastewater into the local water supply. The Boring Company applied for a state permit last year under an affiliate name, Gapped Base LLC. Or Gapped Bass, I'm sorry. No, it could be Base. God, fucking English. Gapped Bass LLC to dispose about 142,000 gallons of treated wastewater, again, variable definition, per day from its facility in Bastrop, Texas, into the Colorado River. Earlier this year, the Texas Commission on Environmental Quality had said it had opened investigations into the Boring Company after receiving 3 complaints regarding the Bastrop site's handling of wastewater and concrete production. On Tuesday night, several local Bastrop residents gathered at a meeting with TCEQ and the Boring Company to give public comment on the company's wastewater disposal permit after local citizen Chap Ambrose launched a campaign to quote, keep Bastrop boring. Ambrose told Insider ahead of the public meeting that while he's always considered himself a fan of Elon Musk, he feels that the Boring Company is breaking the law. Quote, I'm very invested here. My family lives here, and I have environmental concerns on what I see, Ambrose said. He said in a post on Twitter that about 400 people showed up to attend the public meeting on Tuesday night. An estimated half of the people that came out to the meeting were turned away at the door due to capacity constraints, he said. The thought of this happening is horrifying. Aaron, who runs an organic farm near the Boring Company facility, told Fox News, that doesn't sound like your typical agriculture worker or person. This stuff, and we don't even know what it is going into the river that we depend on for food production. Ambrose told the publication that he has concerns about Musk's propensity to, quote, value speed over everything. I don't know if y'all heard it as clearly as I did, but the reason that they want to discharge treated wastewater into the river is because they can't wait 24 months for that pipe to be run and permanent infrastructure set up, Ambrose said during his public comment, according to a video from the event that was viewed by Insider. Jeez, look at that. What the fuck is that? Bastrop Mayor Connie Schroeder said she would prefer the Boring Company prefer the Boring Company waited to treat its wastewater at the city's plant, which is currently under construction, local news reported. Bastrop broke ground on its $32.6 million wastewater treatment plant in 2021, according to the Austin American-Statesman. Okay, all right. I guess I made an unrealistic portrayal of the average Texan. I guess there's a huge gap between the urban and the rural Texan. I pity both. I don't give a shit. But I guess I stand corrected. This is just a short-term solution, and ultimately we hope to not even utilize the full capacity of what's being authorized. A Gapped Bass representative, Rajit Patel, said at the hearing, according to Fox. That name sounds familiar. Who's Rajit Patel? Then again, that sounds like a common Hindi name. Award-winning author, filmmaker, and academic. By nature, a leftist. Yeah, interesting. Interesting. All very interesting. Given this is the right Rajit Patel, I'm sure there's a lot of them named there. Anyway, Patel explained the company's water treatment process for the wastewater before it would enter the water supply, and said the company plans to eventually use the city's treatment plant, the Wall Street Journal reported. He noted that the wastewater would not come from the boring company facilities as well as SpaceX per the journal, though SpaceX is not listed on the permit application. Neither Musk nor the company's president, Steve Davis, attended the meeting. TCEQ is expected to decide in the coming months whether it'll approve the permit, the journal said. A spokesperson for the boring company did not respond to a request from the insider. Musk's space venture has faced similar blowback from residents in Boca Chica, Texas, where local citizens sued SpaceX in 2021 over claims that its rocket tests have caused public beaches to be continually closed. So, before I knew what the hell the word environment meant, I have always been a technophile. I'm always excited to learn, see new things. And naturally, that makes me a bit more, perhaps a bit more competitive. And because of this internal bias, my first impulse is basically to side with... Then I became an ardent environmentalist and an actual vegan for several years. Because I thought, well, in order to preserve the living faculties of Earth to sustain human life, I believe that, okay, well, we need to keep our long-term interests in mind. And then I became an ardent believer of the global warming theory. I kind of poo-pooed any dissent towards environmentalist action procedures. I thought the Koch brothers were the two most evil humans on the planet. And then around 2016, ironically because of a few friends that I was talking to regarding the election of Donald Trump, I started to turn my opinion around on that, because I started to see, okay, well, in some cases, yes, you actually cannot develop technology, which is what I truly love, I guess, in addition to somehow keeping the environment clean or pure or whatever. You have to crack a few eggs to make an omelet. So, after that revelation, along with a bunch of other really long network of strings of thought I had in response to that initial inquiry, is I became an anti-environmentalist, because in the end of the day, I still love technology. That being said, who doesn't want clean water? Who doesn't want clean air? Nobody. So, because of how I've seen, and then furthermore, all of these environmental regulations is basically what Mr. AVC from 5-6 years ago, that is exactly what that motherfucker wanted. And of course, AVC is a changed man. And I look back at it and I just thought, well, this is exactly what my past self wanted, but this is not what the present self wants anymore. And it's just ironic to just see how that the childish impulse within me is saying that, well, it's almost as if the world read my mind. But yeah, so in spite of the fact that Musk's entire shebang is almost entirely dependent on government subsidy in one way or another, while producing mostly worthwhile products. I mean, SpaceX is beating NASA. Tesla is clearly a selling product. It's it's just kind of annoying to see people complain about environmental regulations, and because of the tainted image of environmentalism, my first impulse is to dismiss anyone complaining about what Elon Musk is doing, what any XYZ corporation is doing, any technological development is doing, because eventually these people are indirectly, through many steps of indirect relation, are kind of shooting themselves in the feet. For example, like that organic farmer girl, whatever the fuck, like she's probably growing in hydroponics. She's clearly an urban agriculture person, which is low-key a leftist thing. Not only are you closer to the city, where I guess you're more likely to run into people who are also left-leaning, to say the least. The idea of urban agriculture is very much a departure from the status quo of traditional rural agriculture. So, in order to continue with that gig of indoor, high-tech, organic, urban agriculture, you are dependent on technological development. And in order to depend on technological development, well, at the same time, this farmer, what's her name? Urban. Oh, no. Organic. Erin. What's her name? Near the boring. I want to just fucking move. So this Erin lady, whatever the fuck her name is, you're going to need technology to do your job. And sometimes technology might stand in the way of your technology, and it's just kind of a bidding war about who can provide more value to the people, the local government, the aggregate economy as a whole. And sometimes you can't win that battle. I understand that you are just a small farmer. Who knows whether you're actually making money or you even have a business. Good luck beating Musk money. I mean, Musk is way bigger than you, obviously. And he's probably making a lot more money for Austin or Texas as a whole. Yeah. Good luck. The economy is cruel sometimes. And, yeah. You know, I guess I'm still mixed on this too, because I'm really fucking tired of hearing about Bitcoin and the miners and all these like Zoomer teenager, frankly, retards who just won't give up on that shtick. Yeah, like this video is talking about right here that, the enemy of my enemy might be my friend in this case. But of course, once the common enemy of, let's say in a hypothetical situation, I'm someone of actual influence, and oh god, what the fuck is this Texas Blockchain Council? Are they gonna fucking lobby the government now for crypto? What the fuck is this bullshit? Oh wait, actually no. That could be the Fed's way of trying to disseminate crypto. That's clever. In this state, around 250 people died from a power blackout, exposing the fragility of the power system. So now the proposal for this video is like alternative energy in Texas to prevent the fucking the blizzard. God, Texans are such fucking pussies. Man, can't put on a fucking coat. Shit. One of those price signals.
We want people to consume electricity when there's too much of it, and we want people to curtail their energy use when there's not enough.
What the fuck is that supposed to mean? Hold on.
Bitcoin mining...
Prices are high. If power is in low demand, prices are low. And Bitcoin miners need those price signals. We as citizens, we want people to consume electricity.
I don't know. I can't take this fucking seriously. So a Bitcoin, a cryptocurrency lobby to beg the state government to... Man, that's just some... This just sounds like the fucking Proud Boys. It's just like their leader's a fucking FBI agent. I swear to God. Fuck them. Fucking blockchain. Get the fuck out of here. Oh my god, I'm so sick of hearing about crypto. Ugh. Anyway, I guess maybe they're dressing it up to be like a general blockchain. So like obviously the blockchain and crypto are things that are commonly associated with each other, but they're not all the same. Blockchain is about a system of I guess many different nodes of I guess data permanence, documentation. And it's a useful tool, but why do you need to beg the government for it's already established itself long before it's been called blockchain. I mean, what the fuck do you think the internet is? Someone's going to archive it somewhere. And that's called a federation of a network. So this it's just like I guess it's like a union. It's just a redundant extra. It's a redundant reinforcement to protect one's own bottom line, and people are dumb. Whatever. Anyway, so that was interesting. Anything can be interesting if you look deeply enough. I guess we'll touch on some culture news real quick. So, I think businessmen are starting to gather the testicular fortitude or the brain matter to finally realize that, look, woke people are literally woke customers or woke pseudo customers are literally a liability. If you try to accommodate these people, they will see this as a sign of weakness. They smell blood in the water, and like the sharks they are, they will continue to prod at it, criticize it, because that is their bottom line. Their profit is completely contingent upon the fact that they can sue you and likely will win. Now, at that point, why let's say you're a small store owner. Why let someone who you know is just there, not to buy your product, but just there to fucking complain about your shit and then try to sue you? Why would you let these people in? You don't. And if they're going to kick a legal fuss about you not letting them in, well, that's just the cost of doing business. So, James Patterson, I'm guessing is, and again, I don't know shit. I'm all anime. I don't know shit about Western fiction, industrialized Western fiction, I guess. James Patterson, quote, if Florida bans my books, quote, no kids under 12 should go to Marvel movies, unquote. So this is really interesting because I know Florida has been, they've been kicking up a fussy. Excuse me. They've been kicking up a fussy about DeSantis proposing bans or censorship or removal of woke media. Now, what is this headline? This headline really doesn't tell me much. Florida bans my books, quote, no kids under 12 should go to Marvel movies. I mean, a lot of Marvel's content is like PG-13, isn't it? So, what are you getting at here, Patterson? I guess we'll find out. As the culture wars rage, books are increasingly on the front line, as if this hasn't fucking changed. Culture wars have always been a thing. Across the country, local, state, and some national officials are moving to ban certain titles on grounds that books tackling racism, sexuality, and gender identity pose a threat to younger. Okay, this is wow. This is some rhetoric right here. So, I guess this is part of like the don't say gay thing. That's part of it. They're talking. Yeah, obviously this is talking about like woke shit. And before we go on to this article, I don't know if I see two hypotheses regarding Patterson. Either Patterson is one trying to push his woke Marvel content in order to keep his ESG kickbacks, again, environment and social governance incentives, a huge disruption to say the least to basically every aspect of business in the Western world. Or B, he is going against this? So I guess this is the opposite of what I expected to talk about. Opposite side of the same coin, of course. And some librarians and teachers push back against such bans have faced harassment and dismissal. Oh no, the big bad Republicans. Oh whoa, they're scaring us. Many of these allegedly controversial books are familiar school staples written by long-dead authors such as The Catcher in the Rye by J.D. Salinger and Beloved by Toni Morrison. I think you forgot To Kill a Mockingbird by whoever the fuck wrote it. I think that's another good example of this. But this week, best-selling author James Patterson was pulled into the fray when school district officials in Martin County, Florida, removed his young adult series Maximum Ride from elementary school library, but kept accessible for older students. What? Oh, this fucking book? I don't... okay, yeah, this is... now that I think about it, this can kind of get hairy. Okay. Man, it's been so long since I heard about this shit. So, Patterson tweeted about the incident Monday, urging fans who found, quote, mindless book banning troubling or confusing write to Florida Governor Ron DeSantis, who has been aggressively waging the culture war. We caught up with Patterson Wednesday, who expanded on concerns. Question, Martin County did not ban Maximum Ride, but instead has removed access for elementary school students. What do you make of this distinction? Question, answer, it is a distinction with some merit, but not a lot, because it's not a book anyone should be taking out of elementary schools. There's nothing in that book that should scare anyone. Kids who are into science and math love it because I talk to scientists about it, whether you can put wings on kids, which is kind of fun. If you're going to ban the book, then no kids under 12 should go to any Marvel movies. This is an interview with James Patterson. Have many Martin County school officials reached out to you? No, they haven't. The troubling thing is that the school district is making decisions about books. Individuals that haven't read the book, if based on one person's objection, you can take the books off the shelves, and then we're going in the wrong direction. The only time I was banned for the, quote, Jericho Commandment in 1979 novel about the terrorists at the 1980 Moscow Olympics, and that was banned in Russia, so that's ironic. You've mentioned this is personal for you. How so? A lot of people talk to talk, but I do stuff. I have spent 40 years about teacher libraries. My mother was a teacher in Catholic schools. She paid for her own classroom library, but I've been funding independent libraries, hundreds of teacher scholarships, and I have an imprint for children. God, this girl is so much cuter than what Shailene Woodley. Why did they cast her? Maximum Ride is the name of the main character in this young adult book series by James Patterson. Okay, young adult. Right. So... okay, I guess I'll keep reading. But I also happen to own a house in Martin